What's up, everybody? I want to address a topic that has been on my mind for probably around 2 to 3 weeks or so, and I didn't jump right into it because I guess I wanted to kind of marinate on it, think about it some more, and then something interesting happened. Especially if you're in like hardcore gamer and you follow the media outlets like IGN and all that, and kind of funny, which is a company. Then they have a YouTube channel. I think they actually have more than one YouTube channel because they have a straight up gaming channel as well. But yeah, if you follow what's going on with that particular situation with Kind of Funny, and especially with Colin Moriarty, who was a member of the company that has now left the company, and I think it's for good reason. And I don't know if we'll ever know the full story behind the scenes of what happened with that company. And basically, he formed this company along with three friends of his. They all used to work for a company called IGN, which is very big in the gaming world and now just media in general. IGN is pretty big, a pretty big website, and they have a YouTube channel and multiple YouTube channels as well. But he decided to leave the company because it started off with a tweet, which I will share that tweet with you all here on the screen. Some people found it to be very insensitive, especially since he put it out on National Women's Day, and there are a lot of women that chose not to go to work, and he's like, oh, peace and quiet, and to me it was not really a funny joke. I mean, he works for a company called Kind of Funny. They're not professional comedians. They're journalists, and but they do have a natural chemistry with each other and everything, and I mean, sometimes they're funny. Sometimes their jokes just land with the thud, I mean, it's just to be real about it. But again, they're not professional comedians. They haven't perfected that craft. That's not really what they do. I mean, they try to be funny, but, sometimes it just doesn't quite work out. And honestly, all my time watching Kind of Funny, I think one of the funniest moments ever was actually Colin Moriarty, something that he did where he was basically reenacting Batman versus Superman, the movie, with some action figures. That was actually pretty funny to me, but let me not get way off track. But that's just looking at that situation and how I feel like his friends didn't really support him properly behind all of that. And there was a statement that was put out by Greg Miller, and I think after the fact, there was this. Some people said that it was both Greg and Colin that worked on it, and I just don't know if I completely buy that. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, I just feel like kind of sidelining him from an event that they were supposed to go to, and then it was just mishandled to me. I don't feel like they had to defend him, but if they disagreed with the joke, but at the same time, making it bigger than what it was just was not cool. Like, Greg Miller basically apologized for him, and I'm like, Colin wasn't apologizing. He didn't feel that he'd done anything wrong. It was a joke that just wasn't really that funny to a lot of people, including me. I didn't find the joke funny, but I didn't find it offensive either, because jokes like that have been made for so long. He actually did an interview recently, and I'll try to put like I can't think of the guy's name, Ruben. I think it's like the Ruben Report or something like that, but maybe I'll link that video down below. Let me do that because I do want you to check that out if you have the time. But he did an interview about the whole situation, and I think they brought up how, jokes like that, they're nothing new. I mean, people talk about like the honeymooners. You got the husband Ralph threatening to hit his wife to knock her to the moon, and there's been silliness like that over the years, and it is just silliness. I think it's a big issue that some people just can't take a joke at all, or they're opportunists and they want to take any little thing that somebody says and run with it and try to destroy them with it. And unfortunately, that's the situation that Colin is in, but he'll be all right. And getting back to, like really getting to my main topic here, friends growing apart from each other, I'm actually glad to see Colin split from Kind of Funny, because when you watch those guys together, they're just not on the same level at all. And that's not completely putting down the other guys, because I've been a fan of Greg Miller for years, and I think Nick and Tim, they have their good sides to them. They have their good traits, I guess you would say. But when you look at Colin compared to the other three, it's just like he's so intellectually above them, in my opinion. I mean, they have a lot of knowledge because they've been in the business for so long. But the big difference, though, is that Colin has, I feel like he has like serious viewpoints. He really marinates and thinks on things. He has philosophies, and that's what I like to see from individuals, not just somebody that knows a lot because they're exposed to it or they've done the research, whatever it may be. I like people that actually develop their own philosophies, that think outside of the box. They don't just go along with what society says and what the majority says. And to me, I really feel like those three guys, that they basically rode with the majority to try to protect their company instead of standing by their friend. And I think that's going to really damage them in the long run. Maybe not so much professionally, but they're going to have regrets. If they don't have it already, they're definitely going to have regrets in the long run, because it's like people move on from things so much. I could point out some celebrities. I don't want you to get sidetracked focusing on any particular celebrity I name, but there have been a lot of celebrities that have done things that were offensive, and people move on, and still support their work. So I feel like they could have supported him, even if it was just by being silent, by not saying anything about it, not making a big deal about it. That would have been support, and they could have just moved on from there. But they addressed it and, tried to apologize for the man, and it's like, no, he wasn't apologizing, because it was just a joke that some people didn't like. And I mean, that's really all there is to it. And I don't believe like he's a woman hater. There's nothing about Colin I've seen that makes him seem like a woman hater. As a matter of fact, to be blunt about it, Tim rubs me the wrong way when it comes to the way that he addresses women sometimes, and even their little intro, which I wouldn't be surprised if they change it very quickly, because in their animated intro to one of the shows that they do, Tim, his cartoon version is in bed with a bunch of women. So watch them change that in no time. I know they will. But so and some of the other things that they've said on the show will sound a lot more sexist than what Colin said. So I think they're being hypocrites, and I don't know if I can support them anymore. I haven't unsubscribed. I'll see how I feel moving forward with them. But right now, I know I don't want to watch them. I just can't. I'd rather see what Colin has to say, because like I said, to me, he's just intellectually superior. I mean, just to be blunt about it. As a matter of fact, that's not completely a diss to those guys, because I think they'll say it themselves. They know that he's intellectually superior to them. And I mean, he knows a lot about politics, and I just feel like he knows a lot about life, because he actually really thinks. And, really focusing on the topic here, I think that is what causes friends to grow apart sometimes, is just intellectually, you're not in the same place. And it's not that one person is really above the other, even though I think that is true for Kind of Funny and that, that company and those guys. But I think your focuses may be just different, so I think that can cause people to grow apart. And then something else as well is, people that have goals, that set goals and have goals on a regular basis, really don't have much use for people that don't do that. I mean, it can be cool to hang out with a friend and joke and goof around and all this and that, but if you're on your grind and you're trying to accomplish things, it helps so much to be around people that have that same mentality. So you don't really want to deal with somebody that's just stuck in place, like they're running in place, and or even deal with people that, just to be real about it, there are some people that, especially weed smokers, and some people can get offended if they want to me saying this, but I think weed smokers are so good about saying all these amazing ideas that they have and never following up on them. And that is, I guess, one of the stereotypes of weed smokers, but I think there's truth in it, that they talk all day about these great ideas they have, but they're never going to do anything. And that, to me, that's the worst thing about weed, is that it robs people of ambition. It may not be as bad as other drugs, and that's why some people will say, to make weed seem like it's harmless, but I think it does rob people of ambition if they allow it. It's not as if the drug just completely does that itself, but I think that does tend to happen. And, again, if you have ambition and your friends don't, then it's kind of hard to continue to connect with them, and there will be times, of course, when friends grow apart just because of what is going on in your life. Relationships, having kids, and all those different things. But this is what I think is really important. There's a difference between not having enough time to really hang out with your friends the way that you want to. I mean, you might have time to call them and you may talk online, whatever it may be. You keep communication, but just because of your responsibilities, you may not have as much time to hang out as you want to. So that's understandable. But when you get to the point where you never miss your friend, you don't even really worry about hanging out with them, then it's like, are you really friends anymore? I don't think so. I feel like friendship, I've said this before on this channel, I really do feel like friendship is an active, ongoing thing. And like I said, when you get to that point where you don't even miss the person, then I don't think that's real friendship then. And it's not really a bad thing. Some people look at that like that's so horrible. But it just happens. It really does happen. And like I said, there's many different reasons for it. But yeah, and I do feel like I have grown apart from friends over the years. And sometimes, it can be kind of a downer to think about it, but at the same time, it's like when I really think about it, I'm like, do I really need them in my life? And it's like, not really. And I know that sounds cold, but that's just being real, and it's the same way for them, even though they probably would never own up to it, because I look at it this way: if they needed me in my life and me in their lives, then they would keep contact, but they don't, and I'm talking about certain individuals. So. And it's the same way with me. There's certain people I just don't make the effort, especially if I don't feel like it's being reciprocated. And that's something that causes people to grow apart as well, when the effort is just not, it doesn't have to be exactly equal, because I don't know if you really can measure that per se. But if one person is putting up all that effort to make plans and to make sure that you have fun when you hang out, and to even make sure you get a chance to hang out, and the other person is just blasé, nonchalant, then no, it just doesn't work. Or if you have one person that's all talk, always saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we'll take a road trip, we'll take a vacation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes down to it and you're like, okay, let's really do this thing, let's get it together, this, that, and the other. And then they're like, oh, I can't right now. Or they say they already have plans, they make a bunch of excuses. Then it's like, go ahead with that Hollywood talk, because that's basically what that is. And I'll just be real, that disgusts me. I hate that phoniness. I really do not like to deal with phony people. It's just, what's the point? So, and some friends, some so-called friends, can be very phony with each other, and it's just like, well, why bother then? I would rather have just, a few, like if I could count my real friends on one hand, that's fine with me. And I think if you really do look at real friendship, then it probably will be that way. And I've talked about that before as well on this channel. So growing apart, I do want to say that, make it clear my viewpoint on it. It's not really a bad thing. If it's happening, it's happening for a reason. There is a reason behind it. And, sometimes it can be because somebody did you wrong and you just can't get past it. But again, that doesn't make you a bad person. It's just, sometimes it can be really tough to recover from somebody doing you wrong. And you may actually be able to forgive them, but it doesn't mean that you want to smile up in their face and go out with them and hang out and all that. No, you may not be down with that. And again, I think that's understandable. I hate when people try to make somebody feel bad for not letting people treat them like a doormat. It's like, you got to stand up for yourself, or you got to know how to separate yourself from people that make you feel, negative, like if they bring you down. So I don't think you can be criticized for that. You got to do what is going to make you happy. And I know for me, a lot of times I end up going out by myself and hanging out by myself. Like I just went to a Comic-Con. I rolled there solo. Couple years back, well, it's been a good number of years back now, I went to Vegas by myself because I got tired of talking to friends about it and it never coming together. And this is what's crazy as well. I let a lot of people know that I really, really want to go to Vegas. I haven't been since I was a kid, and as a kid, you really can't really do much in Vegas. My family did go to Circus, which that was cool. But I mean, there's not much you can do there as a kid. But I'm like, I really want to go to Vegas, and it never came together with any of my friends. And actually, while I'm trying to figure out how in the world can I get to Vegas, I had two friends actually go, and I'm like, okay, that's crazy that it worked out that way. But yeah, I ended up rolling to Vegas solo, and I had a good time. I really did enjoy myself, and I feel like you can't always wait on people. So I think that can also cause you to grow apart from friends where you just feel like they're kind of interfering with your chances to have fun and your chances to do things. I guess the saying is what one monkey don't stop no show, or whatever it is. That saying. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta roll. By yourself. Do what you gotta do. And I think sometimes you can have a much better time by yourself than being with somebody that's phony, or being with somebody that basically doesn't want to even really be there. So yeah, I feel like I've said enough there. I kind of rambled a lot. I know I tend to do that. But again, the channel's called Thinking Out Loud for a reason. I do want to hear your thoughts about this. Have you had this happen to you before? Have you grown apart from friends? Maybe you even feel like you're growing apart from friends right now. I mean, maybe it's something you're dealing with. So definitely drop that in the comments. Let's talk about it. I do appreciate you all watching this video. And like I said, or maybe I didn't say it, but this particular topic, growing apart, I think I would like to talk about it in terms of a relationship as well. So hopefully I can find the time later on this week to do that. I have a lot of content that I want to put up on my main channel. So yeah, but hopefully I can find the time to do that as well, because I really would like to address it, in terms of a relationship as well. I think that would be pretty interesting. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, and you all take care. Until next time.